Hey guys, Nightfox here, and welcome to a spoiler discussion. So there's going to be a new video where I just kind of pick a couple shows in the season and just kind of talk about them without fear of spoilers and just kind of let you guys know what's kind of rolling around in my head during this show when I'm thinking about the plot and all that. So this is going to be about Occultic 9. So I'm on episode 9. So if you haven't watched up to that point, I would suggest just clicking away from this video so you're not spoiled for what's going to be happening. So this show for me so far has been pretty good. I was concerned at first because it wasn't really going anywhere, especially with episode 1. I felt the pacing was really weird. With they kept jumping through all these different characters. Gamon, Ryotas, and then as the episodes progressed, we got Sarai, I think, Miyu, and then Zombie Girl. I can't remember her name. But past episode 1, I feel like it's gone a lot better in that pacing aspect. I thought the episode where they showed that girl, what's her name? Okay, Arya. That's the Mystic Girl. I thought that episode was really interesting where they kind of showed her backstory, especially because earlier Toko had talked about that girl and her situation with her brother, and then seeing it kind of unfold and not realizing what it was, well, at least I didn't realize what it was until the end, was really cool and a really nice effect. I will say I wasn't one of the people that picked up on the no shadows, but if you did, huge ups to you for noticing that. I thought that was a really interesting touch, how the dead people didn't have any shadows. And I think it's gonna be one of those shows where when you go back and watch it after having it all play out, you're gonna catch a lot more things, which I think is really cool. For example, like I said, no shadows, no reflections. I think even in that video, even in the episode with Arya and her dead brother, I think people were saying that if you looked in the reflection, you could see that he was dead already. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah. So I'm really interested just where this show is really going to land, because now we've known this scandium is being put into these people's bodies so they can have astral projections and kind of like they can have astral projections and kind of like live eternally now. And then the side effect of that is that they're going to put it into rich people's brains, and then by controlling the electromagnetic waves, I think they said they can like mind control them. So they'll be able to mind control the rich people, the rich and powerful, which is kind of like what the New World system I think is about. So that was an interesting point, as well as we've kind of met the Emperor, I believe his name is. We haven't really seen him fully, but we saw him in the hospital this past episode. And there's a whole lot of speculation about who he is. He could possibly be Gamon's father. That seems to be a rather popular theory right now. Just because of how he created the organization and he just kind of suddenly disappeared. So that's a situation, but I feel like it has been someone that we have already been introduced to. It has to be, because I feel like it'd be really weird to throw a new character who is the Emperor in at this point, this late in the show. So I think it's definitely someone we've been introduced to. Yeah, there's just so many questions in this show really that I just still haven't been answered. Ryotas is intriguing to me, especially we've seen her true nature at the end of this episode. I think it's pretty much confirmed at this point that she has been Zonko talking to Gamon, which is a really interesting thing because the FBI worker had Gamon's bag and she was able to hear the ghosts through Zonko as kind of like an intermediate kind of translator thing in a sense. So then that brings the question as to if it lets you hear ghosts, then why was it working for Gamon? Wouldn't he be able to see ghosts? But then that brings in the whole question the albino kid was talking about visible ghosts and invisible ghosts. So maybe he was hearing invisible ghosts that weren't seen. But then, again, we saw this episode that Ryotas isn't a ghost because everyone saw her, but she's able to see the ghosts. So there's way more to her than meets the eye that I'm guessing we'll see next episode. So the whole Zonko thing is just kind of confusing to me as to what capacity it works, how Ryotas was using it to communicate with Gamon, and how much does she really know. Another really interesting person is the bar owner that we haven't seen in a couple episodes. I believe his name is Izumin. He reminds me of another character from a similar time travel show that goes by the name of Ferdinand. If you know who I'm talking about, he kind of feels like that kind of character where he's there, he operates, he doesn't really seem to be drawing that much attention to himself, but he's important in the end. I think the same thing is going to be true with Izumi. I think he's going to play a critical role in this show that we just haven't been introduced to yet. But I'm mark my words, he's going to be important in this show. One thing I'm still scared of, time travel. They brought it back up this last week with the detective and the so-called devil. How they said that he's able to jump through time. I'm really hoping they're not going to play the easy route of they just can go back in time, just jump back in time and then fix everything and everything's fine. I really hope they don't go that route. I feel like it'll be a real big cop out for the show, and I'd be really disappointed because I feel like it's been a slow burn. It's really picking up speed into the end of the show here. So I'm fine with them using time travel as long as they use it effectively, intelligently, and carefully. Like Steins Gate with the whole time travel thing. If it uses it like that, I'll be completely fine with it, where it has a purpose and it's not just used to band-aid a situation that you really couldn't figure out how to conclude properly. So if that works, I'll be completely fine with it. But that's pretty much my only main issue with the show. I'm kind of worried a little bit because I feel like we just have a lot of characters. We have Arya, who we haven't seen in a couple episodes, so I'm really kind of wondering what's up with her. We have Gamon, who's been there. Ryotas, obviously, been there a lot. Everyone else pretty much has been there quite a bit, except for Arya. So I'm not sure exactly what happened with her, where she is, what she's doing. But I mean, there's still a whole lot of things we have to really wrap up. How was Professor Hashigami killed, and why was he killed? Another thing is, a couple episodes back, we saw, I think it was when Gamon was going to the morgue to see his body, there was that weird guy with the demon mask that was shown at the end of an episode, but we haven't seen him again. So I'm guessing he's important if they showed him at the end of an episode like that, kind of following Gamon, I think. So what's up with him? Who is the emperor of the organization? How are they going to stop the organization? What happened that caused all these people to walk into the lake and commit suicide? There's just so many things that need to be answered, and I'm thinking they can do it. I feel like the answers will be like almost like an avalanche kind of thing, where once one unravels, then it will just kind of snowball into the next one, and we get a lot of answers in one episode. But yeah, I'm excited for this show. I think it's going to end well. The only thing I'm worried about is, again, the time travel aspect. But if they're able to pull that off well, then I think this is going to be a real solid show for this season and just be just a really good show that you have to give some time to ramp up, but once it takes off, it really takes off. So that's my thoughts on this show so far, just some of the ideas that are kind of rolling around in my head. If you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, feel free to leave me a comment in the section down below. I'll link my first impression videos in the description box down below if you want to see my thoughts on this show when it was airing in the beginning of the season. I'll also link my weekly power rankings if you want to see how I was ranking it in comparison to the other shows. And if you want to be notified and keep up to date with when new videos are released, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the new videos come out. So until then, I'll see you guys next time.